Good evening, everybody. It's up. Thank you again. Hvala puno. Dobar dan, Garis. How are you? All good? Yeah, super. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I want to also thank the organization for such a wonderful event that we can all share our thoughts and our experiences. Whoever can have anything from that and use it for themselves, that is actually the best thing what we can do today, because our wonderful system does not help us much. So that was one of the things, and one already said, I was a ballet dancer for, 20 years, profi, over 700 performances that you heard. And with 22 injuries in my luggage, I started to have a lot of difficulties. The last 5 years of my career was, from one side, a hell, but from other side, believe me, now I wouldn't give one injury back, not even the half of it. Because the experience made me to grow and to become and start to understand about this machine from a different perspective. And that perspective is not how much you do train, not how well and healthy you eat, but how well and healthy can you take care of your organs. Why organs? And nobody looks on them during the trainings or for the high performance athletes, or even for our everyday life. We try with diet to compensate the bad things, but if you give a clean water to a already stagnated pump, that pump will not work. That pump needs a help, that pump needs a cleaning up first, and then keep going with the clean water so you can have it a perfect work process. So that is my point about our 5 major organs. Today I will not speak so much about the heart and the lung, because that we all know. We will speak a lot about spleen, liver, and the kidneys, and they have their yin and yang organs which support our energy flow. So if you would have an amazing robot built from a titanium and all kinds of the best metals with the wires, what would you need in the end that robot functions? An energy. And from where do we get our energy? From which source do we regenerate our cells? Do we regenerate our bones, muscles, thoughts? From the energy of our organs. So during my career, you try to train as the Western system teaches you. Even though I always loved Shaolins, for some reason, I don't know why, one small aspect, the most biggest aspect, I missed it. 20 years, even more. That's how you do the Qigongs. How do they work with Qigongs? To stabilize their energy and to give a better regeneration. That's why they can do crazy stuff and they're not broken until 50, 60. They don't need the certain warm-ups what we do in a Western world. And those things started to change my perspective to understand, hey, wait a second, could be that something we do wrong. Because when you have 6.5 hours every day, almost 30 years, counting the school, 9 years ballet school, 20 years in the company, as she said already, 6.5 hours every day, that's a lot of work. Not even any profi sports athletes do this time as a ballet dancer. I call the ballet dancers the Formula One of the sport, because we have so many aspects to concentrate on: aesthetics, music, yourself, and the most important, your partner. You can't drop your partner. And you have to be with a wonderful, nice smile. Doesn't matter what's happening inside of you. Even though your calf is ripped or ruptured or torn and you're on stage, you're living that pain, you can't show it, unfortunately. And that gives you a certain strength to understand that we do something different, but a lot of things is missing in our body. So having all those injuries, trying all kinds of techniques, trainings, methods, flying from Munich to Stockholm to get the best massage therapist because he knows how to go in and massage your the knots in your muscles and they will be open up. Unfortunately, it didn't help. Being by the best doctor, one of the best doctors in the world, Dr. Müller-Wolfert, was over 20 years the doctor for the German national team. You go once to him, you go twice, you go 3, 4, 5, and many more times comes the point that you start to communicate with him differently, like, Doc, please, get me, I mean, you work with FC Bayern and also with the German national team. Is there not one rehabilitation trainer that can rehabilitate me, that I don't get those injuries again? And he told me, Tigran, with your body, you gotta find a way yourself. Because all the other trainers, they don't have the knowledge how to rehabilitate you because of the ballet, not the sport. And all the other things what you do, it wouldn't help you, because you've been already with how many trainers? I said, very, very many. So from there on, it did a small spark in my head that I gotta really go myself into my body and see what can I do to recover from those injuries. Because when you have a fear going down the stairs because you don't know when your calves will torn again, that's living in hell. And plus going down the stairs to go on stage. And you have to stand in the middle of the stage. That fear can bring you a lot of negative hormones, which makes you, the vicious circle turn around, even weaker. So in those situations, I didn't get in any depression or, deep place in a life that you say, okay, I want to live it. Yes, I had a small thoughts after the 7th time. But after that, I was like, that's challenging for me. Literally so challenging that I was addicted to get more injured and just doing the crazy stuff. My wife is here, she knows, she was like, you are crazy, what you do at home, still on the Western propaganda methods. So from there, I was still a dancer, active. So looking around, what do I want to do, what I want to study, what I want to do after when I finish dancing. But before that, I have to heal myself because I want to play with my kids. I can't just like this with the film, please wait, I will have to warm up 2.5 hours until my body is ready to play with you. And that is one of the worst things that we do in the Western society. And from there on, very surprisingly, I found from a friend of a friend a magazine about the neuromuscular screening, which I became one of the first health coaches in Germany because it's a relative new method. How through the neuromuscular screening you find out the real weak places, not the muscles. Because from the training what we do, the muscles can be already strong. Now we lift 120 kilos. We do a biceps curls. I don't know, 120 squats. All correct, all great. But do we think that are we on the 100%? Now I can tell you there is not one athlete that it works on their 100%. And I can actually challenge any of them with those words to see and prove that if your neuromuscular functionality is not optimal, those muscles will not work optimal. Doesn't matter how much you go to training. Because they hang on your bones, and there where neuromuscular junctions are, there is happening a chemical synapse. And if that is not optimal, you can train 14 times or 15, 16 times a week. It won't help you. It will make you only weaker. Will get you more addicted to training because you feel there is something inside of you, but it never comes out. No? How many of you have that feeling? You go since fitness and you train, I don't know, years. Are you satisfied? I'm sure at least 80% not. And it does not hang on your training. Most of the times also not on your trainers, but it's on your system. So now from there on, I want to go to the organs. After studying the NMS, there we have also very nice chapter about a detox and a distress, how you combine those two aspects for a better performance. And of course, in the beginning, you start to think like, all right, let me just see. Combines with the Chinese medicine and understanding of how the meridians flow in our body, you start to understand how this machine is functioning. Chronic pain in elbow. How? Why? You didn't have any accident. You didn't fall every morning on your elbow on the stairs. So why does not regenerate? There are certain meridians that they take care of those parts to give enough energy that your cells can regenerate from extremity to the middle, from middle back to the extremities. And there was like, oh my God, okay, when you learn Chinese medicine, you look back 20 years, and then you start to understand that you're paying the bill actually now, not then. And everybody says, yeah, but since last 2 years, 3 years, I don't do any of those stuff, and now I'm worse than before. Like, yeah, because the snowball already rolled. It rolled and became so big that doesn't matter what you do now, even you change your lifestyle, it won't help you optimally. So, of course, I'm very skeptic after all those injuries and the doctors that I met. I didn't all say, oh, that's it, I found it. No, it will have to take a time until I try on my own self. I'm like a laboratory mouse. Until I don't try on myself and to see if it does work, then I can apply that onto clients. But as a priority, as I said again, it was for me first. So let's get to the organs. We have the heart, lungs, spleen, liver, and the kidneys. Yeah, 5 major organs. They all have their works in Western medicine. We know what they do. But what do they do more in Chinese medicine? About emotions. Overthinking. If you have overthinking before training, what happens with your training? Can you train optimally? No. So overthinking, it's in your spleen. All recorded, it's in your spleen. Unfortunately, it's not in your mind, guys. Leave this in peace. With this one, you have to get caring about your organs, and they will take care back of your brain. What is brain? Takes energy and needs a clean blood. And if these two things are not optimal, doesn't matter what you do with that machine. It won't function. Do you agree with me? No? Like the car. You can have a Porsche, but you didn't change the oil for 200,000 kilometers. Would it drive against the Volkswagen Polo? No. So, therefore, we want to clean up our organs. Organ stimulation, and it is possible to do it to your own self. So, spleen, we are back to spleen. One more important thing, you want to get strong. You train to make your muscles stronger. Where is the muscle strength hidden? In your muscles? No, it's in your spleen in Chinese medicine. Yeah, that's not from me. So if you take care of your spleen, with less training, you'll be already stronger. And I've tested last 4 years, over 100 hours a month. I have clients and also on myself. First, it needed to be all tested on myself, as I said, and I mentioned it already. One more very important aspect of the spleen, the liquid transportation in your body. How many people have a water retention in the feet and under the knees? That is exactly the spleen meridian. And if it's not working well, you will always have a water retention. That means with more water, all the water retention in your body, in your muscles, it will have more lactic acid. So one more time, your muscles cannot work optimally. Doesn't matter what training you do. And it is not about the training. So only these 3 aspects, if we take, and we can stabilize that before training, what do you think your training will be? Easier, lighter, with less overthinking, and with less negative thoughts. That's about a spleen a little bit, yeah? Does it make sense now? Do you see the perspective why after so many hours or years of a training, you don't gain the power, what you feel actually, you have it inside. And that urges you to go to train more. But somehow the vicious circle is turning, going all around, and makes it more difficult for you. And you get lost because you don't know what to do anymore. You don't know what training. Do I want to do Pilates? Do I want to do yoga? Do I want to do Muay Thai? Or do I want to do just a functional training, animal flow? There are so many, guys. There are so many trainings. And of course, if your system is fine, you can choose which one you like, with your own character, with your own style, and you can enjoy it. But if you search the trainings just because through the movements, yes, you can get it healthier, but it will take much longer, and you have to be almost a monk to know all the tricks from the 5 years old, so you can keep that like the Qigong or like the yoga they do years and years. The development process will be much slower. And sometimes on the way, you might hurt yourself because the wish and the urge to be healthier, to be stronger, it's so strong inside of you that it pushes you to injuries. And that's exactly what was happening with me. And when you start to get more injured, what I mentioned already, a fear. Oh my God. What does fear to you? Even more negative hormones in your system. So the fear is recorded in your kidneys. That's why when we get scared, what happens? Sorry to mention that we pee in our pants. You don't pee in a head because the kidneys lose power. They cannot hold the water, and the bladder is the yang organ of the yin kidney, so it just lets it out. Bone marrow production, weak bones, it's also the job of the kidneys to produce enough bone marrow to keep your bones strong, active, and also muscles hang on the bones. If the bone is weak, muscle cannot hang on it. So of course you're going to be more injured. With that thought, getting out negativity from your body, believe me, it gets you at least 40 to 50% easier to train and have more fun, and to not have back thoughts that, oh my God, I miss my training, I need to go today to training because if I don't do the training, I don't feel well. And yeah, because those are all because of the negative addiction in your body and the hormone levels which has the production from your organs, from your glands, through the help of your organs, it's insufficient. So one more time, if we take care of kidneys, we'll have less fear, we'll have stronger bones, then we already, again, a little bit stronger. Another 5 to 10% we added onto our training. Now we come to liver, biggest organ, yeah, from here up till here. About the emotions of liver, your anger is recorded in your liver, and it doesn't matter if you drink a lot of alcohol or not. Yeah, just because of the environment, because of the situation, you can get a couple of times angry. That gets recorded in your liver, then it passes back to your brain, so you're a very angry person. And if we have less anger before training, one more time, we'll have an easier path in the training. And very important aspect from liver is the body tension. You know, when sometimes the body is too tense, not because of only training, but just by itself. And that also liver's responsibility. And if we take care of the liver, the body tension will go down. Automatically, we are more flexible. How many people want to do spagat? And trying for years before getting it, already they are injured. Because the tension is so much in your muscles, in your fascia, in your every cell. So that will be very difficult if you want to conquer your own self. And pain. The pain feeling. is also in your liver. That's why everybody feels pain differently. We can do the same thing. I will feel different measures of pain. Somebody else will feel differently. And that's why very important to take care of the liver also before training. And why I say before training? Because the whole world, I mean the Western world, we know a certain kind of warm-up process, very functional. And when I was in the academy, the fitness academy, started studying, and that came actually. My professor, and he's also a sport scientist, he's like, every warm-up causes a micro-injuries in our muscle tissue. I was like, excuse me? Like, what? And all these billions are in the world being invested, and nobody tried to find a way to reduce those injuries. Like, no. Like, okay, that's another new challenge for me. So getting all those aspects from the animals, from the organs, combining into the warm-up with the stimulation of the organs, your body will have less micro-injuries, which causes better energy flow because you already prepared the organs, because they are responsible for our energy. They are our batteries. And for our batteries, we need to take care of them manually, because we are a big pump with a very small, many pumps. And if those pumps are not working, even one if it's not working well, automatically the other ones will be also under pressure. So the vicious circle starts to turn and turn and turn. So creating this acupressure point, stimulation, and an organ massage, and also working on the spinal cord fluid without functionality, without big movements, that brings our internal heat, our organs to become much warmer and the energy flow better, then the training will be easier. Over 6 months, I've tried that alone onto myself. Does that work? Is this an illusion or it will function? Yes, it did. If then I had a fear to go down the stairs and I would have to warm up 1.5 hours to play a ball with my daughter, or future daughter or a son will come, hopefully. Let's see. Now I can jump, and they are 22 times, yeah, 17 calves, and over 5-6 times broken ankles. And exactly then I felt like that's what the Western world is missing. That is exactly the biggest problem, that we concentrate so much onto our brain and the muscles that those two things suck out of us everything. And we don't have the time to recover, so we need a fast resources. That means medication, pills, all kinds of powders to make us stronger, all kinds of, yeah, whatever you know from the Western world people do take. As long as we don't need those things, why do we take? Because we want to feel strong. Yeah? So we want to have the strength, what we feel we have it inside, but we can never reach. And unfortunately, with all those things, it will just make you more pressure onto your organs. It will be less energy for your muscles. In the end, again, vicious circle. One very good example I have always, as I spoke about the warm-up. What do you warm up in your cars in winter when you get to it? Engine, very good. Where is our engine? The organs. So, and why do we treat whatever we build, construction, car, computer, telephone, screen, whatever we build, we treat them better because instinctively we know how to treat those subjects, but not us. So let's think those are suspensions, brakes. We come and we start to warm them up. Our spine, yeah, one of the most important things on our body with the main neurological system. We want to warm up our spine. We come and we start the movements. We all know the usual and the standard warm-ups of the Western world. What happens if your liver fascia is glued to your rib fascia? Very big. Do you think it will be easier for you to move your rib cage? No, it's stuck. And then comes the spleen, then comes in the back, underneath your psoas muscle, which is a very emotional muscle. It reacts before we even do the movement. They're all glued with each other. Then we have a 12-meter small intestine, and we have the large intestine. So if the whole place is stuck together, and you try to warm up your spine by moving the spine, it's like you have a bucket with a wet concrete inside. You take a wooden stick, you can mix that. The stick will not break. But if the concrete gets dry, it will break. And that's what happens with all the herniated discs in the Western world if you didn't have an accident. Because the pressure to move your organic fascia through movement, it will already cause you bigger problems than just the micro injuries in your muscular tissue. So that's why very important to get our motor warm. And then the rest of it will react accordingly because they will give the right energy for your calves, for your biceps, for your quadriceps to do optimal training for a maximum performance. And if we don't take care of them, and if we neglect, what happens? In a Western world, nobody's career till today got longer. There is not one athlete, yeah, we can 1, 2, but in general, it got even shorter because the investments into outer regeneration for our body, it's much more than the concentration, how can I regenerate myself from inside? So with the warm-up and some of the isometric exercises that I created together to have the isometric regeneration training, is 2 very important aspects. Get your organs ready and take care of your joint angles. Why joint angles so important? Because the muscles are hanging on the bones and exactly where they're crossing in the joints. Like at the construction. If the crane doesn't have the right angle to lift the weight, doesn't matter what cables you have and how many times you want to change those cables, it will not function. And the cables are our muscles. So correcting your joint angles in training will already give you better regeneration, while you will have more optimal chemical synapse for your neuromuscular junctions to make the right twitch of your muscles. And if we think that how many hours we spend in the fitness, in our profi careers, in the training rooms, that is just unbelievable. And still not getting those results what we actually wish. And that is for every profi, and as I said, also for the normal amateur or amateur, not in a sense from the sport amateur, but not a sports, not an athlete people. And let's see, when we do a little bit of a stretching, what would happen to our body if we have all the points stimulated? Automatically, we'll get not here, we'll be already there, as I mentioned before. So having all these small steps to build in our body and concentrate on the right direction, unnoticingly, the things change in our body, also the mentality. Yeah, because if we stabilize overthinking, anger, and a fear in our organs, I think we'll avoid a lot of problem in our mental state. Does that make sense? Yes? Super. Let's see how long do we have. Not so much, but what I would want, what is more challenging for me, is the interaction with you. I would love that you ask me a couple of questions, and let's see how can I help or answer those questions to see where we can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is too much light. I don't see if there anybody lift a hand. No. Let's start from there, please. Shall I come to?
Hello, my question
Hi.
is about discus hernia. I have discus hernia, my bubble went out and burst, so I would like to know something about it, how to rejuvenate or rehabilitate.
Sorry, could you ask? Yeah. Do you hear? Yeah.
Pitanje o diskus herniji, imam diskus herniju, izletao mi i pukao disk.
Please, one more time from beginning. I was very involved with the microphone and I didn't hear it.
So the question is about discus hernia, L5S1, L5S1, and my disc burst, went out and burst, and what is the best way to heal, to regenerate, to rehabilitate?
So as I spoke before about the kidneys and the bladder fascia is attached to your sacroiliac joint. Your kidneys are in the psoas, they are in the same fascia. When those two organs are down with their energy production, your spine, your lumbar spine will never be as strong. So before getting it to heal, you have to get the source to have more energy. Yes, the hernia is already there. We might not get that completely out of your system if you don't do a surgery, but to have less pain and more functionality and more strength to actually support your injury. And automatically will all the other parts regenerate better, so you won't feel that pressure what you have it today. It's already a big plus, and you will not let the snowball to roll to become so big that it doesn't give you second, third, and a fourth herniated disc, because once it starts, it's a snowball effect, it will always roll into the direction that is rolling. So we want to, as early as possible, take care of the source organs of those parts, and they will do the job, because they know better than any doctor or any trainer what to do with the body, how to regenerate the body. When we were getting built in our mama's belly, there was no doctor. It was done from the nature. And what do you think after we get born? Our system or our instinct forgets that? No, it just has so much things going on and the wrong places to concentrate. Then we think only about a spine and a herniated disc, but not what could have caused it. And in the Western world, most of the time, unfortunately, they don't look at the organic functionality onto our motoric unit, how those can help. But they tell us, eat well, it will be good. Does that make sense for the question?
Thank you.
Yes? Absolutely welcome.
Thank you, Tigran, for the great presentation. My name is Latan, and I have a question related to stimulation of organs. I'm not a professional athlete, but I do sports, let's say, five times a week. What can we do to stimulate our organs? What can we do in everyday life to stimulate it and become a little bit better every day? So I'm not talking about professionalism. I'm not going into ring. I'm not going to win Olympic champion. Yeah, but what can we do in everyday life to improve and stimulate our organs to be better? Thank you.
So as we go, when you have a sore muscles or a cramped muscles, what we do? We go to a therapist, we go to a massage, yeah? When you learn anatomy, in anatomy they say we have three kinds of different muscle structures. The functional muscles, the organic muscles, and the cardiovascular separate, yeah? We leave that one. But so, if we can massage our calves or our thighs or our glutes or our back and the muscles will have better functionality, why don't we do a soft massage to our organ tissue so that the pump can start pumping better. All you need to do without the pain, as soft as possible in the beginning, make sure that you move your organic fascia. The very good thing I learned when my little one was born, and that was exactly the time when I was studying, changing a job, finishing my career, and all the floating and giving energies to the organs and the massages, very incredible thing happened. When your baby is still 3 months old, even in a Western medicine or in West, what they say, please put your hand on the belly, it will reduce the gases and she will or he will stop crying. It's like, wait a second. So we do that till the 3rd month, but after we forget about it. Why? For some reason, I can't tell you why, but the structure and the system works like that, that we not only don't think about it, we are even afraid to touch it. But if you move like this, it's no problem. And why it would be a problem if I would, before moving it, have a soft touch massage to open up my organs, to give the organic fascia and the rib fascia have their own movements, and then you will have already your organ stimulation. The most important is cause no pain, and there is no real tactic tricks that if you do 2 minutes of the liver, 3 minutes the spleen, then the combination of those will make this. No, you just have to make sure that the whole motor is warm, soft, so they can pump. And once they are functioning better, all those emotional aspects where we spoke before, they will be reduced. Anxiety, overthinking, fear, anger. Then comes the grief is in lungs. If you have a grieved lately, then what happens with our shoulders? Why in the shoulders? Because the power is in your lungs. If that is not holding, you will go more and more, then you get more hernia up in the thoracic spine, then the difficulties come. That is very, very nice thing, actually. In the Western world, we know only one organ and one emotion that they are connected. The rest is taken out. Which one? Yes, heart and love. Love is in heart, but anger is in your head. Fear is in your head. Overthinking is in your head. But I love with my heart. Hey, hello. What happens with the other ones? And there where I start to challenge a lot the Western system for our health, for our functionality, for our everyday life. And it is not that we don't need the Western system. Of course we need it. Without the Western system, all the injuries and all the sicknesses that it comes or happens, or the accidents, surgeries, but as a prophylactic work, before and after the surgeries, that will help us reduce plenty and tons of injuries, dangerous stuff with our body, and a lot of minor sicknesses that we get. In China, in the Tao, they say, if you take care of your 5 major organs, they will take care of your 1,000 sicknesses. And that is not me, yeah? Not from me, I just come and tell you that story. Tao is one of the Tao masters today, is the Mantak Chia. You can also Google him, hear him a lot. He speaks a lot of good stuff. Will I come back to you for your question? Already answered. Okay, super. I think we're already slowly on time, no?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Please.